name is Chet Sandhu. I'm a reformed drug dealer and enforcer. I started getting into trouble, firstly for theft, fraud, minimal things. It was just all about the money initially. That did escalate. It just started from the little bits and just went higher and higher and higher and higher to even the drug scale I was doing. I wasn't really accepted by like a lot of people. Asians, there was only a few of us that I had, and I was little, small for my age. I didn't have many mates, and the ones that did, but they were from like a bit of a bad family, and they used to like steal and do things, and I just got caught up with them. Back then I was easily led, I would say. So I think that's how it started, and I got excited by it because normally I would just have to go home and work in my dad's shop until 10 o'clock at night. The only thing I was involved in was crime, and that was my entertainment. I wanted to go to art school. I wanted to be an artist because that was the only thing I was good at. And my dad thought, okay, he wants to buy a shop. I was just working for my dad every day, 7 days a week. I used to cook, clean the house, and work in the shop. And I wasn't even allowed out until I was 21. The first girl I kissed, I was 21 years old. I never had a drink until I was 23 years old. This is the strength of how I was kept in the house on lockdown. As like a cleaner, staff member, slave, whatever you want to call it. I got into bodybuilding and boxing because of the racist abuse that we used to get in the shop in Newcastle, because we were the first brown people there back in 1984. So we took a lot of abuse for years and years and years. We used to get spat on, people used to laugh at us. So I wanted to train, get bigger, I wanted to start fighting. So I just got into that world. And all the people that used to come in and give my mum and dad and me abuse, I tracked them all down. I had a clothes shop, high-level fashion, Vivienne Westwood I sold, Nick Coleman, Destroy. I used to go to fashion shows, Milan, Paris. This was like a different life, but I was like a bit ahead of my time. This is like early 90s, because Newcastle was a bit backward. It wasn't like London. So what I was bringing into the shop, it wasn't really gonna sell. So that's when I got involved with fraud, with gangsters. So this is how I got my contacts, and the police were watching me. So I had to close the shop down, and then when I closed the shop down, I became door security. That's where I got involved with steroids. People wanted them, I could get them, they wanted them off me, so I supplied, and it started off small at first, but then I wanted to take it to the next level. I went to the source, found them, I did the business, the chief narcotics officer at Karachi airport, the chief of police, they were cool with me. I bought them off, and they said I'm free to do what I wanted. I was married at the time to my first wife, had 3 children. I wasn't really interested in being a dad or being a husband. I was just interested in the money, and I wanted to build my empire. My empire I was building, doing trips every 6 weeks, Pakistan back, bam, bam, bam. Interpol were watching me. So they tracked me, they tracked my flight, and it came as a bit of a shock, really. I wasn't really expecting it. Crumbling, it didn't. Money I had everywhere. Money I had in England, money I had stashed. It was all like, wham, wham, there you go. The police were waiting for me. They tracked my flights, and they had all the information. In Spain. I was meant to get 9 years because I learned Spanish, and the Spanish are corrupt. I got a lawyer, and he paid the judge $6,000 and $3,000 for himself to get me the 4.5. I didn't learn my lesson because I thought I was invincible, because I had control of that jail. I was the money lender in the jail. How I worked it was I would give people 1,000 pesetas and 1,500 back. Every Monday they got paid, but it was like a rolling thing going on with them because they used to buy heroin with it. 3,000 they used to take off me every week, and I would get 4,500 back off them. And I had about 10 customers weekly. So I never got any money in from England, and security I used to take off them their watches, jewelry, rings. You could wear all that in jail over there. And then when I come out, I just thought I was a bit invincible. King Kong. You know, I just thought I could do what I wanted. And I got involved with a firm, and they were controlling prostitution in the whole area. They were already getting watched by the police. In the end, I got told it cost them 5.5 million to bring us to court. The operation was called Halogen 5, and there was 21 police officers alone watching me. And I didn't even realize, because I was that high on all the time. Because I thought we were controlling a lot of things, but we were doing what we were doing, but the police were happy with it. The police work like this. There's a certain sector of the police what will allow it and say yes, yes, yes. But then there's a different sector that said, no, we want them. Yeah, so they don't work alongside each other neither. Some are cool with you, but the other ones want you. So I was with a girl, and when I got arrested, I knew I was looking at a big one, and I just told her to go because there's no point in hanging around for me because you can see men in jail every day on the phone on a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, asking the girlfriends or the wives, where were you last night? And there's a whole queue of them. And they're giving excuses out. Oh, I stayed at my mum's. I was at my mum's house, or I was here. And I went, and my cell used to be next door to the phone. And I go, bro, she's been getting baby. I just give it them straight, but I didn't want that problem in jail because jail is hard enough anyway. If you've got a wife out there as well, it's a double headache on top of the headache you already have in jail. So I thought I'd rather just deal with one headache at a time. It was like a dawning point at about 6 weeks into it. And then I thought, why did you have to give me all that time? If you let me go now, I'll be a good boy. But I knew then, because it hit me then, 7 years. I thought, oh God, I was only young then. The best years of my life I spent in jail. And that's where I started to be cool. I didn't do any drugs in jail. I did what I could. With the screws, I worked for them. I was a head cleaner. And I advanced through the all the way through to where I could get to without even getting a drug test, with no warnings, no nothing. Because I knew after then, I just want out of here. So let me out of here and I'll behave myself. And I want a decent life. Because the people I was with, you talk to them, they've been in 4, 5, 6 times, little sentences, 1.5 years, 2 years. And I thought, I don't want to be like this. And then you meet other people who are doing 30 years, 40 years. And I thought, I don't want to be like you neither. So, so I don't want to be like any of these people in here. I was in jail for 4 years. I worked down from Cat A. I was Cat A for a year and a bit, which means high category. And then I was category B, then category C, and then category D. So I had to work through the way, because then they say, right, he's okay now to go to this jail. It's a bit lenient. Cat A jails are like tough, bang up, lock up. Cat B, still bang up, lock up. Cat C, easier. Cat D, open jails. So I went through the whole system here. Category A, I was there in Durham for a year. But like I said, I was a head cleaner. I was the one in charge of them all. Because they gave me the authority over the rest. Because I thought, okay, other prisoners are going to listen to what I say. So they said, right, you talk to the other ones and tell the other ones what to do because they can't tell them. Category D, yes. I was there for like a year as well. I was there for like nearly a year. But that was an open jail. But I was the only one not allowed to leave the jail. Open jail is like where you can go to work 5 days a week. You go out at 10 o'clock and come back at 5 o'clock. But most of these guys had like made up jobs by their mates. They just used to go home and see their wives, have sex with their wives and have a drink and come back. And they used to tell me the stories. But I was the only one who was not allowed. So I had to hear their stories for a year, which wasn't easy to do. So I told the screws, why have you put me here for in the first place? Why don't you stick me back over there? Because I'm not allowed to leave anyway. Looking back in jail, it's like a reflection on what you've done, because you're there every night on your own. Every night on your own, you're banged up, and all you do is think about what you've done wrong. And they're not nice thoughts. There wasn't a lot of many happy memories there. I can say that much, yeah. It was like all bad memories, really. The parties, but the parties aren't even enjoyable anyway. They're all fake. What came to the breakdown? The breakdowns happen, I think, when it's like a combination of shit that just like combines, and then it hits you, bam. And when it does, it sorted me out in a way, because I knew I was never going to go back there. I would never get involved in anything that's going to land me back there in the can. The breakdowns are going to happen. People said, well, that's normal for what you've been through and what you've done. I said, is it normal? I don't even know if it's normal or not. Who knows? But it's through that I wanted to concentrate positive things to help people. In jail, I helped people. In jail, I helped a lot of people that were getting bullied, picked on, this and that. The gay guys, midget once. There was a little midget in jail. He got a lot of abuse, but I stuck up for him. And his story is quite funny, actually. In Spain, really, I wasn't really a good person because I had to act like them because they were acting like animals, so I had to act like an animal. But in England, it's a different story because you can work down from cat A, cat B, cat C, cat D. So this like gives you a little bit of a mindset. Okay, behave, 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 and I'll be out of it. I came out of jail in 2007. Then I was in contact with my mum, my dad, because I was in this country, my cousin, and he was involved in cash and carry, beers, wines, blah, blah, blah. He said, listen, come and work with me. It's a straight company, because some people don't do that, you know? Some people got to make it on their own, which is really hard. But I got a bit of help, yeah? And I worked with them, and I was making money, and it was straight money, and it was all good. And then I decided to get married in India. The girls I'd had in England, the ones I want, I couldn't have. Because they looked at me as I'm the ex-gangster, the pimp, the drug smuggler. So the ones I wanted, I didn't want. But the ones were coming to me, the ones I didn't want. The gangster moles, the party girls, this and that, because that's the life I want to move off from, you know? So my thinking was, okay, to go to India and have an arranged marriage. But I knew the family, the girl. I got married, and then we decided to get a shop together. And I put her in charge of the shop. When I was out, there's certain girls that like, come on to you, and there was an affair that happened with this one girl, right? She found out about it, but she didn't tell me until after. But in the meantime, she was siphoning money out of the shop, sending it all back to India. So she was ripping me off about $250,000. These arranged marriages as well, they're not good. You think you're marrying like a straight girl, it's all like straightforward, but no. She's coming here to get a passport, to siphon money, send it back and divorce you, and then her and her boyfriend set up life. And then after that, after her, I decided to move away from here to Cyprus because I just wanted a break from everything. And that's when I got into the CBD I'm involved in now. But the reason I got hounded out of Cyprus was through Interpol again, because I had an R8, a sports car, I had apartments there, I wasn't working. So they thought I was still drug active. And other drug dealers were like scared of me being in that area, saying, well, it's obviously. So Interpol were on me and I got raided there twice. They closed down streets. There was 14 officers in my house, searched everything twice and didn't find anything. So I decided to come back and I wrote my first book, King of Karachi. And that did quite well, 25,000 words. It wasn't meant to be a book, but it turned out to be a book. And then since then, the CBD was going. We're helping loads of people here, and it's all going good. That company is going good. So I decided to write my second book, Self-Made, Dues Paid, 120,000 words. I wrote it myself. It took me 2.5 years to do this from start to finish. It wasn't easy. Blood, sweat, tears went into this. Reading it back was a nightmare because I had to read back what I've been through. 3-4 times I had to do it. And I couldn't even go back through the book because it was like hurting me that much. And it's my story from being 3 years old till 2002. It's the first of 3 books that we're doing. And I'm also acting now. These are my paintings here. I painted in jail. I smuggled them out of jail by wrapping them around my legs because they're painted on HMP, Her Majesty's crab sheets. They put these down to stop you from getting crabs from the next prisoner who's been in the cell. So I used to paint on these, and the paintings I've got, they're all original, and people said I should get them printed and do this, put them on for sale. For people that think this lifestyle is cool, it's up for it, it's good, it's that, no. It's not like how we did it back then in the day. Police intelligence then, minimal. CCTV, not available. Internet, not available. But what I did at my level, I think now it's not accessible. If you're involved in that and you think this is all good, your lifespan, you're looking at about a year tops, and before you get jail or you get that one. The best years I had, I was stuck in jail with other men. And this was my time when I could have shone. So then, all wasted. I wasted, my children all went, the money all went, everything goes. Okay, it's cool now that I made it back, but there's not many that do. There's some people, they still see me for who I was, but that's fair enough, yeah, if you want to see me for that. But I have moved on. I have moved on. Thank you.